Done.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. To talk about why it is important to fine-tune your skills. Before we start, I want to give you some practical information. First of all, the webinar is being recorded, so there is no need for you to take screenshots. Also, there is a questions tab in your screen, so feel free to write down your questions there. We will do our best to answer your questions during the session. Otherwise, we will get back to you as soon as possible by email. Next to the questions tab, there is a poll tab. We will appreciate your feedback there. So if you have time, please answer the questions there before the session ends. With that, I think
Let's
we can start.
Yeah. Let me share the screen. Just a sec. And here we go.
Okay, so this is the topic of our webinar today, optimizing speech recognition for Alexa skill, a practical overview. The agenda. First of all, I am going to do some more introductions because there are other team members of Bespoken present on this webinar. Then we are going to talk about why it is important to tune your skills. We are going to see next a practical example, some real-life cases of speech recognition issues in a skill we have created. Then we are going to talk about how to solve that issues, our approach to that. We are going to introduce a tool we have created for that that is very helpful and we are very proud of. Finally, how to get started using this tool.
And then we'll go to a round of questions.
A round of questions.
Like Ivan said, there is a tab for questions right there on Livestorm. So you can do the questions there and we'll part of our team will address them as we get them, and the rest will be addressed at the end.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yes, besides Diego and myself, we have today John Kelby, who is our founder and CEO, also Karen Guerrero from the marketing team, and Guy Borgford, who is our business development lead. What we do, we are at Bespoken, a company with a long story with speech recognition and AI. Our tools ensure each aspect of voice apps quality. We have tools that automate unit end-to-end testing. We also have tools for monitoring voice apps. We also provide tools that speed up the development process by testing and debugging locally. We also provide professional services to help you get started easily with voice automated testing. We are a recognized vendor of Amazon and Google. More than 1,000 voice apps are being monitored with our services, and more than 4,500 users
are using our tools.
Yeah.
So that's who we are.
Yeah, so the topic today, as I was saying before, is why it is important to tune your skills. We can start with a survey. It has been done by voicebot.ai last year, and it was asking the users which are the most important qualities a voice assistant should have. And as you can see, first of all is how well it understands when I speak. It's kind of surprising, I guess, and interesting at the same time. From my perspective, it highlights a problem that we might not be seeing because of the confidence we have on automatic speech recognition, especially now that we are close to human parity. But the numbers speak. We have added a source there for your reference. And the problem with a user not being understood is that it generates frustration. And with frustration,
of course,
comes the bad reviews. And the bad reviews, as you know, cannot be deleted. They can undermine the confidence of your stakeholders, and of course, it's a bad reputation for the developer, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we don't want to have that.
Yeah. As a developer myself, I found the survey also, I don't know if surprising, but one thing caught my attention. As a developer, with a developer perspective, probably I've been worried when developing my skill on how fast it responds. right?
Yeah.
And I have the assumption that it's always going to understand me because I'm the one testing it, manually testing it, right, before releasing it. But then we forget that, well, people have different accents, different pitches on their voices and stuff. So having a skill that is not able to recognize what your user is saying will totally end up in bad reviews. And bad reviews will affect your reputation and will prevent other users from wanting to try your skill.
Yeah, and a user who is not happy with the experience is not going to come back. So
yeah, the skills and voice apps in general have this particular thing that users will try your skill, and if it fails or if they don't like it, it's really hard for them to come back to your skill. So you
So the thing is, why is this happening? Why users are not better understood? And there are many factors, but one key point here is that voice assistants are very complex internally. Speech recognition is hard to accomplish. It's not perfect, especially when we add variables like accents, background noises. Improving it is not 100% in our control, and plus developers, providers, are constantly adding improvements to their backends to have better experience for the users, right?
Right.
But that might also affect how your voice app behaves.
Yeah.
It's very hard to accomplish, and we have added there a link also because it's a Twitch stream where two engineers from Alexa talk about what Alexa does to know or to be sure what it understood.
Yeah, and to understand you better, and how can you train your skill using the knowledge of the machine learning that Alexa has. So a key points that I took from that Twitch stream was that Alexa, it of course uses your interaction model, and that has a lot of weight on the decisions that Alexa might take, so that if Alexa understands a phrase, then it will map that to one of your intents, right? Or if Alexa understands, well, a value that is on your slots, then it's going to put that value in that slot, right? But what happens if there are values that you haven't put in place, or there are phrases that you haven't thought of? Because you can add sample utterances for your intents, but there's always going to be users that try to use your skill differently. So in those cases, voice assistants are going to rely on statistical models. So they are going to try and kind of guess what the user is trying to do or what is its intent. And you might get lucky sometimes. The statistical models are pretty good, actually, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be lucky forever.
All the time,
Yeah, so the statistical models can change over time. So it's better for us to be covered as developers and have as many phrases as we know that the user could say in our interaction model, for example.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, and with that, I mean, explaining that is the problem. We want to see which are the most common errors that a developer might face. And for that, Diego has prepared an interesting example, so we can see.
So in order to try this and to show you this, it's better if we focus on a real skill. I developed a skill that I hope that you find entertaining for today and enlightening in the sense that there are of the issues that you can face as a developer with speech recognition. So I was thinking, what can I use that could have multiple values and that they are also difficult to pronounce in order to make Alexa fail a bit more, right? So an idea came to mind, and I developed a skill that I called the voice Pokédex. So basically, this is an internal skill for me. It's in the development stage, but it is really simple. You basically can ask to my skill for a Pokemon by its name or number, and you will get in return its Pokédex entry. So I have a database of Pokemons. Their IDs are basically their names, But I only have the first generation Pokemon available, which are about 151. And there are two ways to call my skill. The first one would be as a one-shot. So you would say, ask the voice Pokédex to tell me about a specific Pokemon. And the other one would be in session, which is what most of us usually do, right? You just would say, open voice Pokédex, and then the skill is going to ask you for a name or a number, and then you're going to reply to it. So let's do a quick demo. I have the Alexa application on my phone, and I'm going to try to invoke it with the one-shot. So ask the voice Pokédex to tell me about Charmander.
Charmander. The fire on the tip of its tail is a measure of its life. If healthy, its tail burns intensely. Would you like to ask for another Pokemon?
So that's how my skill works, okay? And with that, I want us to play, going to try and guess who's that Pokemon.
Yeah, who's that one?
Or in reality, Alexa is going to try to guess who's that Pokemon, right? So I have 6 cases here, 6 test cases here that we are going to go over really quickly. So I have 6 Pokemon in here: Charmander, Metapod, Victreebel, Pikachu, and Farfetch, which is kind of hard to pronounce. So the ones that have a star after their name, those are not on my interaction model. And actually, just give me a sec, because I want you, in order to better understand this, I want you to show you my skill. This is it. This is the Alexa Developer Console. And I have here 2 intents, one to handle the Pokemon names and one to handle the Pokemon numbers. And for that, I had to create a Pokemon custom type. And here you will find 148 values. That's because I didn't add all the values, and that can happen to you as well, right? Maybe you are creating a database of your products, and for some reason you forgot to add one of them, or you are trying to, I don't know, add a database of restaurants in your neighborhood, and you might, there can be new restaurants, and you might forget some of them. So I tried to replicate that, and I forgot to add 3 of them. But for the rest, I added the values and its IDs. And I'm using the IDs to tie this into my database. So this is what a user would say. This is what I have on my database. So let's go back to the example. Spoilers. So yeah, for Charmander, we just tried that, right? It is on my interaction model. I asked for it, and I got a good reply. So when I asked for Charmander, I got Charmander in return. That's excellent for us. That's great. What happens with values like Metapod? Metapod is not
in your interaction model.
Yeah, it's not in my interaction model. However, it's
easy to pronounce.
Yeah, it's easy to pronounce, right?
Yeah.
So Alexa is going to try to divide whatever you are saying to it into phonemes and try to come up with a word. That's what it does when recognizing what you are saying. So it should be easy for Alexa to handle Metapod. And when I try this, if it's not on my interaction model. So that's another good news for us. Next, Victreebel, I don't have it on my interaction model.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to pronounce. So.
Yeah, it's hard to pronounce.
I'm confused.
I actually don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I mean, what is the intonation and all of that.
Yeah.
You have to remember we are transmitting live from Lima, Peru. We are Latin American guys. So obviously we did this test with our own accents. Yeah. So for Victreebel, I tried it, and sadly, what I got in return was Victreebel. So this is a case where my interaction model is applying weight to one possible value, and Alexa is deciding that the real value that it should understand is Victreebel, because that's on my interaction model. So sadly, that test failed. And next would be Pikachu.
Mhm.
I explicitly removed Pikachu from my interaction model
To see what happens.
to see what happens, because I think Pikachu is a fairly known name by now. It's
Yeah.
part of our popular culture, right?
Very common. And it's easy to pronounce. So
And it's easy to pronounce. So what do you think it's going to happen when I ask for Pikachu?
I would say it's going to be recognized, of course.
Yeah, I would have thought the same. However, what I got was Pikachu with
An accent.
an accent that we call that tilde here in Peru. And yeah, so this messes up with my database because this is not what I have as a name or as an ID.
Yeah.
So even when I got it 99% correct, the user is going to be faced with a message saying that I couldn't really.
He didn't get the right name.
Yeah. So that's too bad. And next in line is Farfetch. So Farfetch is harder to pronounce. I do have it on my interaction model. So I'm hoping that it's going to be recognized. But I'm going to do the test once again with the Alexa app. And first I'm going to try this with the one-shot invocation. Okay. Ask the voice Pokédex to tell me about Farfetch.
I couldn't find any Pokédex entry for Farfetch. Would you like to ask for another Pokémon?
So the funny thing here is that it kind of understood. It said Farfetch. I know you guys couldn't see it, but the difference was that it was looking for Farfetch without the D at the end.
Okay.
So it didn't really work for me. But I'm not losing hope. So I'm going to try the same thing, but this time, yeah, in session. So I'm going to open the skill again. Open voice Pokédex.
Welcome to the voice Pokédex. Tell me the name or number of a Pokémon you'd like to know about.
Farfetch.
Farfetched. The sprig of green onions it holds as its weapon. It is used much like a metal sword. Would you like to ask for an...
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, as you can see, it doesn't only depend on understanding or interpreting just a single word. It also depends on the context.
Mm.
So for some reason, it didn't get it right when I tried with a single, with a one-shot invocation, but it did work when I tried it as an in-session utterance. So that was the first step in our approach. You have to obviously test your skill, and you have to write down the results, and you have to measure them as much as you can.
Yeah, and try all the possible slot values.
Of course, I just tried 6 right now, but like I said, on my skill there are 151, and there could be more. Because, well, we know that this is a franchise and it keeps growing and there are new names all the time. Yeah. Take in mind also that this has been tested with our accents.
Yeah.
I've tested this manually and I came to these results manually. But obviously, maybe a person from the US could get different results because they could pronounce it better than I do. But at the same time, people from other regions might get other results.
Yeah.
So what happens is with another accent, right? I tried with a British accent, and before I get this, these are the results that we got. Mm-hmm. So we had 3 of these Pokemons in our interaction model, and 3 of those were not in our interaction model. These are the types of invocations that I used, the values, and this is what I got. So a 50% fail rate is not what we would want. And like I said, this is not taking into consideration yet that there could be other accents. So when I tried with a British accent, this is what happened. For Pokemons like Executor, I got it recognized as executive. So obviously that's not what we are looking for.
Yeah.
For a Pokemon like Pichu, which is not on my interaction model, it got recognized as speeches. It kind of makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah. It's
Yeah.
sound.
If this Pokemon would have been on my interaction model, I probably would have gotten the result that I wanted. And for Mr. Mime, I got Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
So 3 more cases where this is failing,
Mhm.
right? So we have identified what are the issues, at least in terms of our slots being recognized or not. What happens with our utterances, because the speech recognition could fail there as well.
Yeah.
So for the slots, for now, we're just going to write down the results. We're just going to, you could just identify the issues and have it on a spreadsheet or whatever you like. For the utterance, though, you have a great tool built in already on the Alexa Developer Console that is called the Hinted History page.
Mm-hmm.
And on this page, you are going to see, as long as you have at least 10 active users, you are going to see here different utterances that the users could be saying to your skill and how they are being mapped. And here on the Unresolved Utterances tab, what you are going to find is utterances that are not in your interaction model. So this is a great tool to learn about how your users are interacting with your skill. Mm-hmm. And you could fix them right here by clicking on the map buttons. That is going to update your interaction model. So I'm going a bit a step of myself, because the step 2 was actually to fix the stuff. So you can use, like I said, the Hinted History page to fix intents being badly recognized. And you can, of course, identify, obviously, you don't have to fix all the things, because there could be users that are simply using your skill wrong, right? Yeah. They could be using utterances that you don't really want in your skill. So this is a great tool for identifying those cases. But things that you should do in order to fix stuff. So like I said, for the utterances, you can add more sample utterances. You can pick from that page what are the ones that you think are missing and what are the ones that you think are valid. You can identify also contradicting cases. Maybe there are similar utterances that are being just
invoking.
They could just be invoking intents that you don't want to invoke. So you need to be aware of that as well. And you have to learn to not rely only on the AI from the voice assistants. And by that, I mean, do not rely on the statistical models all the time. And we already saw that with the case for Pichu and Peaches, for example, or for Pikachu, which we thought it was going to be recognized all the way, but it didn't. What else? You need to add new and missing values to your custom slots. You can add synonyms if you identify them, but I would recommend not to go crazy with it, and here's why. So anything that we are feeding our interaction model with, it's over time going to affect the statistical models that the voice assistants use. So if you find that some word is being recognized as another word, but at the same time you think that word is way far off from what it should be, I wouldn't recognize adding that to the to modify over time the statistical model. So
we need to send a lot of
of course,
but might happen.
And in the future you could get those statistical models to understand something that wasn't right all along. Obviously you have to fix typos, and then you have to go back to step 1 and repeat for as many values as possible. So
manually do this testing again, find the problematic terms.
So we can do that right now. We can go into the Alexa Developer Console, and I could go and look for Pikachu. I know that I don't have it on my slot values, but I can add it pretty quickly, and I can add its ID. And here I would add, for example, a synonym.
Mhm.
A synonym. So I know that it's being recognized with this sign. So that's taken care of. Now I could add also Victory Bell, and yeah, I think it was like that, and just add it like this, and save my model and build my model. Obviously, I would have to do this for all the cases that I found. So I'm going to build a model for now. But so here's the thing. If I have to do that for 151 Pokemons and just with my voice, it's going to take a lot of time. So when I say go back to step 1 and repeat for as many values as possible, when I was typing this, I was like, wait, what? There has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a way where I don't need to gather all my team to test my skill to see if all of them are being well recognized, right? And there has to be a way where I don't need to go over 151. And if I were to include all of the Pokemons, those would be like 800. Just try to extrapolate this to other use cases, like if you have restaurants directory skill,
movies.
Oh yeah, maybe a trivia, right? A trivia game. Yeah. Who's going to want to use a trivia game skill if anytime that I'm responding correctly to an answer, the skill is saying to me that I got it wrong.
It was wrong, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
frustrating.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Of course it is.
Yeah.
And even for names, right? We know of a case of a sports league that wanted a directory of their stars, and that was really hard to get it to recognize all the names that there could be. So what can we do to do this faster and in an automated fashion?
Yes, we can do it. And actually, we have created a tool for that because what you were showing, the fixes, are going to improve your interaction model, and the users are being recognized better. But how can we be certain? How can we measure that change, how improve the speech recognition in your skill? We have created this tool. It can measure, it can give you like a number of I sent 100 utterances and I recognize 90. So you can have a baseline, and then you can apply the fixes, and then you can rerun this and then see how it is improving on time.
Yeah. This tool is called the usability performance testing. It is our latest addition to our tool set for QAs and quality assurance for voice applications.
Yeah.
And well, it can use audio from different sources, right, Ivan?
Yeah, it interacts with Alexa or Google Assistant, and it can we can generate the audio from text using Amazon Poly or Google TTS, like using the WaveNet voices, for example, which are very good. Or we can send recorded audio from crowdsources or from production systems. And as I was saying, it helps to ensure the speech recognition and NLU in your skill is working at their best by highlighting, by detecting these problematic terms, so you can then apply the fixes, as you were saying, like adding synonyms. And then after apply this, like rerun to see the changes, and if it improves, if you are satisfied, then you can publish your skill. No?
Yeah, of course.
That will be the advice.
Yeah, and the good thing about being able to use either pre-recorded audio or using generated audio from Poly or from Google is that, well, you just have to do that once, right? And then you can just rerun it and rerun it.
And you can select different accents, different
Exactly.
conditions, one-shot multi-turn conversation.
Yeah, of course. Poly from Amazon and the Google TTS service, they all have a variety of voices from different languages. So that's also really helpful because you can maybe try this with a Mexican accent.
Yeah.
Right? And see how it goes.
See, yes, and we can explain a little bit how it works. We can see some boxes in the slides. The first one at the left is the usability testing service, which is a job management component that receives a configuration file and a test definition file. There you say if you want the uterance you want to test, the slot values you want to try, if it's going to be one shot or multi-turn. Then we send that information in text to our virtual device service that converts everything into audio. That audio goes to the Alexa service or the Google Assistant service that generates the request JSON file. And then that file is sent to a parrot skill or a dummy skill we have, which has been loaded with your interaction model. And then we can compare what Alexa understood, meaning intent and slot values. And that information goes back to the usability testing service to show if it was a success or not and report the results. So it's pretty impressive, and I guess it's really nice to have this. We can perform hundreds of uterances in an automated fashion.
Great, that's really helpful. So what's next? We apply this to the skill that we just showed you.
Yeah.
And we can
see the results.
We can see the results from before and after. So let's get right to it. So this is the tool that for now is internal to us, that we are providing you with this service. You would have to reach out to us and contact us. We have put in place a Google form for that. It's really easy, actually. And on this occasion, I tried it with a lot of different names, more names than I showed on the presentation. So you can see that this is not really what I would have wanted for a first run. I mean, only 58% of my uterances were correctly resolved.
Good.
Yeah.
A lot of bad reviews.
A lot. Yeah, that would go to a lot of bad reviews. So for Charmander, I got the 7
out of 7 success.
7 out of 7. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And you can see here that I called all the time with just a one-shot invocation, but I tried different voices from Amazon Polly. So Joy, Ivy, and Joanna, I believe, are English speakers.
US, yeah.
I believe Matthew as well. Brian and Amy are from the UK.
Yeah.
And Penelope is either from Spain or from Mexico. I'm not sure.
I guess.
Yeah. And they all got it correctly. So that's great for Charmander, but that's not so great for other things. So for Pikachu, for example, that got 0 out of 7, all of them came with the same weird accent. Yeah. So it would really be a shame to get so many errors from just a single change. So you really have to be aware of cases like this one. There's another Pokemon which I think it's kind of weird to pronounce. What is this, Kangaskhan or something like that? And we got 6 out of 7, which is good, right? But for Penelope, the only thing that's missing actually is just an H. So once again, it's just such a tiny detail that could put off one of your users, or potentially many more.
It makes sense because in Spanish we don't used to have that combination.
Yeah,
H
we don't use an H after a K. So,
yeah.
So it does make sense. It does make sense. What else? For Farfetch, which was the one that failed when calling with a one-shot invocation, but not in session. We got 2 words here, Farfetch. We got it correctly sometimes, and then we got fun facts from Amy from the UK. And so you can spend much more time here. For Victoryville, most of them were Victoryville, yeah. And the thing is, we would send you this baseline, and it would be up to you to decide which of these could be potential synonyms and which of these should be ignored.
Yeah.
Because I can show you also one response we got for Kabuto, I think, which was from Ivy, which is I think it's a
child's voice.
It's a child's voice
I guess.
from the US, and for some reason it got it recognized as the booty. I don't think anyone is going to ask my Pokédex about a booty, so yeah, that's probably something to ignore.
Yeah.
But going against my recommendations, I went ahead and added
the synonyms.
I added as much synonyms as I could from this first baseline. And so we can see the after results. And this time I got at 100% success rate. Mm-hmm. Of course, I'm kind of cheating here because I'm adding things that I normally wouldn't do. But I wanted to show you this 100% success rate because this would mean that you could go on and on running this type of testing to improve your speech recognition until you get maybe not a 100% success rate, but a number that you are comfortable with.
Yep. That's great.
That's great.
Yeah, and well, doing this kind of test is probably the only way to be sure you are detecting these issues before publishing your skill. And doing it doing testing is not only a way to know what voice assistants are doing internally, but also you have to do it to detect other issues like functional issues. I don't know, maybe an API is not working well. So the main message is that testing can save your voice up.
Yeah.
And from the beginning, that's why we have created a set of tools for the entire voice app life cycle, right? From unit testing locally, using virtual Alexa, for example, right? Not the real Alexa, because you are like in the code pace and you want to go faster, so you don't need the real Alexa at that point. But then the end-to-end testing, you need the real version to run your functional tests, and then monitoring when you have polished your skill, and then doing this kind of tests to fine-tune before releasing the.
Of course. So, like Ivan just said, Bespoken has tools all over the development cycle to help you in your testing. And testing is important, guys. So please take it into consideration. The usability performance testing, like we just said, is the latest addition to our toolset, one that we are really proud of and one that we think it's going to be really useful for you guys. We've been working with one developer lately that had a quiz game, and their results have improved dramatically. He has started getting even more positive reviews, right? So yeah, testing is important.
Yeah, and please don't wait until it's kind of late. Here we have some testimonials we have collected over the last months, and most of them say that, okay, we know something was wrong when we start seeing like one-star reviews, right? So that's kind of late. It's sad because you put a lot of effort.
Yeah, you start with a bad foot.
Yeah, and then like recovering from that, maybe it's not that easy and nice. So yeah, please test.
Yeah, don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until the bad reviews start coming and it is harder for you to climb that mountain to 5-star reviews.
Yeah, and if you want to get started with this, it's pretty easy. As I was saying, we have created a Google form. You have to submit your information to us. Basically, let us know what do you want to test, which are the sequences, one shot, multi-turn, which are the intents you want to try, the slot values, the conditions, accents, speakers, phrases, variations, with no noise, without noise. Then we need your interaction model, then you get the results. I mean, it's
and just to clarify this, once again, we don't need any of your code.
No.
We do need your interaction model because we know we need information about your intents and your slots and your possible custom values. And what we are using on our backend is kind of a parrot skill. that will just reply with whatever Alexa understood.
Mhm.
So your code is safe with us. Your interaction model is safe with us. It's not shared with anyone or
Perfect.
published anywhere.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is the things that we need.
Yeah, I guess we can have some time for questions if you have any.
Yeah, please let us know.
Yeah, um,
Oh, time flew.
yeah. Well, 3 minutes. We have time. So you're planning to?
Whoop. I need to stop sharing my screen, I think.
Yeah. So you're
Okay,
going to
this-
publish your skill again?
Sorry?
Well, we have a question, sir. Paul Dan, about
Product
pricing.
pricing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the easy question, the easy answer for that, contact us at sales@bespoken.io.
Yeah.
You can also find our pricing plans on our webpage. It's www.bespoken.io. And we have
pricing.
/pricing, yeah. And there you will find plans that are also for the rest of our tools, but this new kind of testing is also included in there.
Yep. Are you going to publish your skill with the fixes?
Oh, I would like to, but I tried once, and a lawyer from Nintendo came after me. so I keep it internal now, but
Okay,
I
that's sad.
yeah.
We
I
can
could
still
be
use it
rich
for the
now.
webinars.
I could be rich now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much lead time does it take for you to help out a voice team with this?
Well, that depends on the amount of utterances and intents and slots that you want to try. Typically, it shouldn't be more than a week, and I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, it also depends if we are generating the audio or you are recording the audio.
Yeah.
There are some considerations on
Yeah,
the audio
because we will have to
formats,
coordinate on there.
Yeah.
But the quickest way to do it would be with auto-generated audio from Poly or Google Voice. And in those cases, well, we would want to have maybe a meeting with you, just
Yeah.
try to get the
Understand your case.
Exactly.
Define the test.
Exactly,
cases.
and then running the tests for these examples that you saw today, which were just 10 Pokemon, I guess,
That's very fast.
with 7 different voices. So those are 70 utterances. It took about an hour or two.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Yeah, it depends on how many custom values you want to try.
and how many voices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have another question. SSML support in test utterances?
Yeah,
of
yeah, we do support SSML in our test utterances. So you can specify there things like, the voice that you want to
Yeah.
use, and many other things. Well,
You can
SSML is
separate
pretty
a
flexible.
complex word like in parts, right? In phonemes.
Yeah, and you can also, I believe you can modify the pitches of some words with
Yeah.
SSML.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do
Sounds
support
cool.
SSML. Nice question there.
Yeah.
Oh, John says that Google TTS allows for layering background audio as well onto the voices. So that's pretty helpful.
Yeah, like in the complex, for example, if you are testing a voice app that is going to be used, I don't know, in a crowded place, you need to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Any other question, guys? We're here. Oh, the image behind me. Ivan, could you?
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
our super llama. That's part of the Bespoken family now. As you know, we are based in Lima, Peru, and near to the Andes.
Yeah.
So we really like our
Llamas.
llama pet. And Super Llama is here to help you with all of your
automated testing.
automated testing problems.
Yeah, probably. John was saying we're going to see the llama tonight.
Should be. I see someone typing a question. Ah. Oh, thank you for coming to this webinar.
Yeah.
I would appreciate if you would go into the polls tab, help us out filling those polls.
Yeah. Please don't forget about the polls.
What level of errors is too many? Well, I would say that would depend on your skill. We are not going to tell you exactly if.
Yeah.
Obviously, a 50%, like on my case,
Not good.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Right. I would try to strive for maybe a 90% of success rate.
Yeah,
like that would be my idea.
I guess that depends, because when you have the first measurement and you find out which are the common cases that your users are going to say, and you fix them, and then you run this again, maybe you're going to see things like you don't need to fix, right? Like the pitches, for example.
Yeah.
Or the booty. So it's something that is not going to help, and probably it was just an error.
Yeah, you could.
Maybe you don't need to get into the 90s or 100%. It depends on each case.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight that you shouldn't go crazy adding all the synonyms, because you could potentially introduce later errors. So that's why you need to do this constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Levan. Thanks to you as well. Saludos de Perú as well.
Desde Lima, Perú.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we can give like a couple of minutes for additional questions, and then we can end the session. And the slides and the replay are going to be available soon, so we are going to send that by email in case you want to check the links we have provided there. That video from Amazon is very useful. It explains clearly how ASR and LU works there. Yeah,
you're going to get the PDF version of this presentation, and at the end we added reference links and some other interesting links that you might be that you could use to better understand these scenarios, how it works, and to improve your skills.
Yeah, reach out to us at any time. We have a chat bubble at the lower right part of our web pages, so just send us a message whenever you want. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at bespoken.io. Sorry, not .io, at bespoken.io. Yeah. And you can find us at our webpage, www.bespoken.io. Yeah. And thank you very much for your assistance. Hope this session has been useful to you, and yeah, let us know anytime if you need assistance. We will be there to help you. Excellent. Thank you, guys. Have a great afternoon, and take care.